Hi, I'm Thomas Noosa. I'm a lecturer in plant sciences at the Faculty of Life Sciences at the University of Manchester. Pain is something that our brain creates. So, as the saying goes, no brain, no pain. Plants don't have a brain. They've got no central nervous system. They've got no processing power anywhere that's like a brain. And so they cannot feel pain. You could also argue that in terms of evolution, we feel pain to make us react very quickly to danger, to difficult situations that we want to run away from, and it makes us react very quickly. So take that hand off a hot plate, run away from danger, and so on. And plants can't do that because they're rooted in place. And so you could argue it doesn't make sense for plants to feel pain in the way that we do. Having said all that, plants do react to the sorts of things that give us pain. So, for example, if you cut off a leaf of a plant or if you crush it or something like that, we know that they react to that. We know that there's an electrical signal that's sent from the wounded place throughout the plant. And many of these things, like insects chewing on a plant or a cow grazing on a plant, do trigger some responses, like, for example, the plant trying to defend itself. Some of them do that by producing compounds that make the leaves taste bad, for example, to herbivores and so on. So the responses to wounding and to danger are a lot more subtle than you would get from an animal that feels pain. And there's no brain that processes this information, but plants do react to these things in a way you could then say they feel pain.
Thermostats react to thermal changes in the environment, but we would be foolish to say that therefore thermostats must sense or feel some kind of pain. I think when people make this assertion, it's really less about people giving a hoot about plants and more about trying to discredit the vegan ethic of compassion. I don't think people are lying awake at night concerned about the pain and suffering of cauliflower.
And if plants do have feelings, why are people not up in arms when their neighbors mow the lawn or trim their bushes? For many plants, pruning them or cutting off parts of them actually helps the plant to thrive. But would you start chopping off the appendages of your child or your pet just to see if it invigorates them? Everybody knows the difference between trimming a bush and slicing the throat of a living creature. I've seen even the most staunch dairy, egg, and meat eaters cringe while watching slaughterhouse videos. How many people turn away in horror at the slicing of a melon?
All we can do is act on what we know to be true. And what we know to be true is that animals feel pain and fear, and they struggle to escape death when confronted by it. That's the issue here. The assertion that plants may or may not suffer or feel pain doesn't justify causing pain and distress to dogs and cows and cats and elephants and chickens and every other animal we know is capable of suffering just like humans. There's no difference there. But also, by dismissing the distinction between killing plants and killing non-human animals, by that logic, you're also saying there's no difference between killing plants and killing human animals. I think ultimately this whole thing is an attempt to play the gotcha game with vegans in order to accuse them of being hypocritical by trying to poke a hole in the principle by which ethical vegans live. To that, I would say, as a longtime vegan and someone who empowers others to live according to their own values of compassion and kindness, I have no illusions about what being vegan means. And what I know for sure is that it's not about trying to attain some kind of level of perfection or purity. I'm not trying to obtain some kind of vegan certification.
Even if someone somehow proved that insentient life forms like plants were capable of suffering, we're causing more harm to the planet by harvesting all the plants, by feeding all those plants to the animals, and killing all the animals to get the nutrients they got from the plants, which were all the nutrients that we needed to begin with. With all the crop land in America alone, America could be feeding 10 billion people. Again, there's only 7.5 billion on the planet, which means less land would be used, less plants would be harvested, less violence committed if we ate plants directly.
Now suppose that the argument that plants are sentient beings is accurate, veganism would still cause the least amount of suffering.